Hi friends, welcome to Loved by Cacao. This is a home for all of us who love cacao, to share our stories, to elevate the voice of cacao through voices from all around the world. Here we will connect the threads of light that cacao is weaving between us, from heart to heart. Thank you for being here. You might like to make yourself a delicious cup of cacao to enjoy while you listen, to tune in with this sacred medicine. I am Pania, lover and facilitator of cacao, and I invite you to step in through the door to this cozy home. Come to sit on a cushion in this circle together, and may we allow ourselves to be here, to be loved by cacao. Hi cacao friends, it's been a little bit and I'm really excited to be back here with you again. Today I have a wonderful conversation for you with Giulia Mattioli, and honestly this was such a joy to record with her. I can't wait for you to hear it. Giulia has an awesome story to share with us about her journey with cacao and her recent trip to the Solomon Islands and so much more. I'm going to tell you all about it and get into it in a moment. First, I just want to share a quick update about the last Loved by Cacao episode, which was with ecologist Karen Gordon, where we spoke about the 6,000-year-old temple in northern Peru called Huaca Monte Grande. If you listened to that episode, you heard us talking about how this temple restoration project really needs our support. And I mentioned that the cutoff date was the end of October. However, thankfully they've been able to extend the time that they can keep the funding open until early December. So if you haven't donated, there is still time. And if you don't know about this project, please do check it out. It's a really special one. And if we are going to keep learning what is deep inside this temple, which is very connected to cacao, we need to offer what we can in donations to enable the team who are working on it to keep going and keep uncovering what's under the earth. You can find out more about this and all the links to donate through the show notes of the last episode. And also if you go to the Loved by Cacao Instagram page, at Loved by Cacao, you can find all the links in the bio there. Or you can also message me if you have any questions and you can't find what you're looking for. So please check that out really soon. And I know it's been a little while since my last episode, and I absolutely love it when everything comes together to bring you a new one. All the aspects and parts and timing that needs to align. It's really beautiful when it finally does, and I get excited about sharing these conversations. I have been having many wonderful conversations about cacao recently, as always, and there are still so many people all over the world who I'm excited to bring on to Love by Cacao, and many stories I wish to share. So please know that even if I'm not releasing a podcast every week, Loved by Cacao is not going anywhere. In fact, I see this little podcast plant that started as a seed of an idea, growing rapidly more and more this year and into the next and on. So I wanted to say thank you for joining me in this growth. I really absolutely love having you here to share in the joys of cacao, and I adore bringing you stories from the hearts of people who also love cacao. So that brings me to this conversation I'm sharing today with Giulia. We got to sit down together a couple of weeks ago in her home, which she calls the treehouse, because it's upstairs and very much in the trees. She lives in amongst beautiful native forest with a river nearby, and I went over one Sunday afternoon. We sat down by the river, grounding, tuning in together, and catching up a little before going inside to where she had laid out a super gorgeous cacao altar with many treasures and brewed up an absolutely amazing decadent pot of thick, creamy cacao. We sat at the altar together in front of the fireplace and enjoyed this cacao and heard her story. Giulia works with cacao beans in the far north of New Zealand, making beautiful cacao paste to share with those who purchase and with clients who she works with one-on-one. She is a life guide and a wayfinder, supporting people in their journeys to self-transformation and purpose, helping people ride the waves towards their visions. And as she said, there is always cacao involved. Giulia has had an appreciation for cacao since she was young, as you will hear, and her passion deepened after training with Oonagh from the Cacao Ambassador in 2021, which has led to a journey to connect with cacao farmers in the Solomon Islands, to build relationships and to support the vision of unity and sovereignty in the world of cacao. When we spoke, Giulia had just returned from 2 weeks in the Solomon Islands, working with cacao farmer Agnes Pilopaso to inspire school students by sharing knowledge with them on Agnes Cacao farm. A little side note is that you can also hear Agnes' story in episode 6 of Love by Cacao, along with Oonagh of the Cacao Ambassador and cacao farmer Grace. So Giulia was fresh back from this amazing experience, and it was really wonderful to sit with her and hear all about it. You can picture being in a cozy room in front of the fire with us while you hear her story. Rain on the roof, the fire crackling, drinking delicious cacao. We were very blessed with cleansing raindrops. However, they were quite heavy in the beginning, and it really poured down while Giulia was giving us a cacao blessing. But even though the rain's a little loud, please stay with it. I promise that it quietens down only a few minutes in. Interestingly, right when she blesses us with a beautiful special instrument, which you will hear, and later near the end, the birds bless us with their song in the background also. So it was quite a multi-dimensional, multi-elemental conversation. All the elements were blessing us. And Giulia's love for cacao was so evident in the room, in the way that she speaks about it and moves with it and shares it. So evident that I totally forgot to ask her my favorite question to ask people in these conversations, which is, how do you feel loved by cacao? So I reached out to her recently in voice message and asked her this question, and she shared with me the following words, which I want to share with you before we get into the conversation. Giulia said, "I feel loved by cacao in so many ways. Cacao keeps me grounded. I feel the love through the spirit by the gentle reminder to trust, to stay in my heart, to have faith in my gifts, in who I am, and it gives me the strength to show up authentically, to dream big, and to love big." So get your cup of cacao and let's hear from Giulia herself. Welcome to Love by Cacao, Giulia.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I feel really honored to be sitting here with you.
Oh, me too.
Ready to drink some cacao.
Yeah, we've been waiting all day for this moment. Yeah. Thank you. I feel honoured too, and it's so nice that you've invited me to your home, and the rain has just started pouring down on the roof, and it feels so cozy in here with the fire and this gorgeous altar that you've created for us. It's so beautiful, with all your special treasures and this gorgeous pot of cacao that you have ready for us, which we're going to hear the story all about how that came to be soon. And before we get into it, we're going to drink some of it, and I wondered if you'd like to give us a blessing to drop in with the cacao together.
Yeah, sure. I would love that. yeah, I feel like to pour some and to have the moment to connect with it before we drink it.
Yeah, beautiful.
This is actually a beautiful teapot that
It
is
is.
turned into a cacao pot.
It's gorgeous.
From Mike O'Donnell. He's a clay worker and waterman.
Oh, okay.
And yes, so it's a special, really special pot.
It's very beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Thank you so much.
Whoa.
I'm excited about this.
yeah, I think I feel to go into the story of this cacao maybe later. Just invite both of us to take a moment to feel this potent plant in our hands. And to me, when I connect with cacao, it's really, really all the senses come to life, and hearing the rain pouring down, it's just like even more, bring even more sensitivity to the experience. But when I lead people in connecting with cacao, I really invite them to feel the warmth of the cup in their hands. So I invite us to do the same, like just taking a moment to feel the cacao as we hold them in our hands, and what brings into our present. Maybe it's a sensation, a memory, a feeling. And then the invitation is to smell the fragrance of cacao and what this experience might bring us. What codes is there for us as we smell the cacao. And it's an invitation for whoever is listening to this podcast. If you have a cacao with you, and even if you don't, can you bring this memory within yourself? The memory of holding cacao and be in the presence. And I invite to stay present for a moment with your eyes closed, or if you have your eyes open, just stay present with the vessel that you're holding in your hands. As I invite everyone to drop into the sense of hearing, bringing the reverence for the plant in all its form. And then the last invitation is to gently open your eyes and take a moment to look into the cup. And with the invitation to bring some curiosity, some playfulness, some childlike, and to notice what is there for you in the cup. Sometimes the shininess of the butter can create some symbols, or you may see the layers of cacao. And just without dropping into the logical mind, but really stay into the heart. The invitation is, what do you see? what message is there for you. And when you receive your message and you feel ready to receive and taste the cacao, I invite you to take a sip and enjoy all the flavors.
Mm.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Oh my gosh, it's so delicious. Yum.
Thank you for coming on a journey, a small little journey with me.
Oh, it was amazing. I actually feel like we just entered into a vortex or walked through a doorway, because with that rain pouring down, it's calmed now, but it's like a whole sensory experience with that and you leading that. And then I didn't remember that you were going to play the cacao pod.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, like, I'll keep it a secret until now. And
it gave me total goosebumps. And the fire and everything, it's like this whole sense, my body's like starting to vibrate and I just feel all the senses coming alive. It's really beautiful.
Thank you. And I guess it's something that that's something important for me, to take people on a journey to connect with all the different layers of cacao, and not necessarily like having to consume it in order to connect with it.
Yeah.
So even like being able to play the pod, it's it's a gift that I received from Dane. He showed me how to play the pod, and it just got this incredible extra deepening layer of connection with cacao.
Yeah. And that, if people are wondering what that means, Giulia has this beautiful dried pod from Solomon Islands, right?
Yeah.
So it's the cacao pod that holds the beans, but it's been hollowed out, and then is it both ends have been cut off? Is that right? Or
No,
just one?
So just the top one.
The top end.
It gets cut, all the beans removed, and then it just get left in the sun to dry.
Yeah. So it's actually closed on one end.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just the top, that is the one that is attached to the tree. The part that is attached to the branch, that's what you cut.
And so you play it like how one might play a conch or something like that, similar.
Yeah, it's more like cross blowing. So you blow, and that creates that vibration that changes all the time, like, and all the time it plays for me.
Oh,
It's a whole journey to really stay humble with the sound and the frequency that wish to be played.
yeah.
Sometimes it just makes the wind noise. Sometimes it makes a melody. So it's every time different.
Oh, well, I'm grateful that you wanted to bring it in today. It's a blessing. It's I'm not sure if I'll ever have someone play a cacao pod again on the podcast. Like, it's quite unique. So that's really special.
Thank you. Yeah.
And then this beautiful drink is so yummy. It's so creamy and like.
Yeah, so this paste that I made, the beans comes actually from Papua New Guinea. So this is for Papua New Guinea beans, and I get the sun-dried beans. So I do roast them, peel them, and then I use the melange to refine it into paste.
Yeah, beautiful.
So at the moment I'm working with both beans, Solomon and Papua New Guinea.
Okay. Yeah, nice. Oh, it's very, very rich and chocolatey, and when I looked into my cup and you were suggesting feeling a message, I just saw so much joy and playfulness. It was just like it was like this little child dancing in the cup almost.
Thank you for sharing. I wanted to ask you. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, be playful and hello. It's very sweet.
It is actually something that I introduced after having Cacao circle with children, because they were all they always are this playful and joyful energy. And when we were passing the cup around, and one time I say, oh, what do you see in the cup? And I got some children say cacao, but other were like just, they could see so much through the layers of the butter and the film that you can see on top that it shines, and so I started to bring in adult Cacao circle to bring back the childlike experience that we often forget when we grow up, to be in the imagination, but also then allows us to go into the space of receiving messages and seeing symbolism can really assist us to receive guidance for our life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we all need play, however old we are. So much fun. I love that you bring that in, and that it came from, it's interesting that I felt that playfulness, and that for you that came from working with children. And I felt like there's a playful energy that maybe you've brought into creating this cacao too.
I do play a lot, all different instruments when I make the paste.
Cool.
Just whatever instruments I have around the house, I just go and play into on top of the melanja. When I put it, I usually sing a lot and really bring in this energy. Whatever energy actually needs to come, because at times it's completely different. It might be really an energy of introspection and silence and being really present without any words. So,
Wow.
But this one, I have to say, I was playing the kyoshi. They are wind chimes. So they make really little fairy sounds and it's been made in this house, so it's we're amongst the trees, and I really feel the energy of fairies around. So I'm glad that you picked that up.
Yeah, totally. It almost did feel a bit cheeky, like a fairy or something. That's beautiful. So and it's very thick as well, and it's like this thick, delicious. So it's Papua New Guinea cacao, and then what else are we drinking? Because there's definitely something else in there.
And just water and a little bit of coconut sugar and a pinch of salt.
Okay, nice and simple, but it's so good.
Yeah, it's the layer of the my journey with cacao and the different beans from different islands. I really noticed they all have different tones. And I'm much more aware of the importance of using water more than milk to keep those notes alive. And so Papua New Guinea, I've just started connecting with the beans.
Okay.
Because I've been working with Solomon Islands for the past 2 years, and it is chocolate. You can actually eat the 100% paste as chocolate.
I have, it's very nice. Oh, amazing. And I hear you on just using the water, because then you really get the essence of the cacao, and this is it's very fruity as well. It's but kind of nutty at the same time. I love that. And the bitter flavors are quite subtle, which do you feel that it's
or compared to Solomon, Solomon, to me it's very fruity, like pineapple and banana or papaya, like really tropical fruit. Papua New Guinea is more like the nutty notes and less bitter.
Yeah. Wow. Beautiful.
Almost like some people actually taste coffee in it as well.
Yeah, I can feel that actually. Yep. And the sort of a roasted flavour a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one, it can depends on how much the roasting part goes, which is always it's a journey itself to really hear how much they wish to be roasted. To me, when I roast beans, I really talk to them. I talk to the beans all the time, actually, for anything. They are my guidance.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're in conversation with them while you're working with them.
Yeah. When I receive the beans, I ask them, how would you like me to... I want to be in full service of what I receive from them. Because I have the strong beliefs of they carry their own unique frequency and they have a voice that we just need to sometimes stop and get out of the mind and listen to it. And so, I meditate on top of my sack of beans.
Do you?
Or on top. It depends. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a full conversation.
Yeah, right from when they arrive and then through the whole process of working with them. And you hear the messages coming through, what they're asking.
Yeah, it's even for example, the more I'm working with the beans, and the more also the amount of the time to refine in the melanja, it's not all the time the same.
Yeah.
At times it gets shorter, at times it gets longer. There are some tricks that I've been learning along the way by listening to it. Yeah.
Wow, I love hearing things like this because this is intuitive work, right? And also, the listening and the paying attention, and that's not something you can get in commercial products by any means. And that's one of the reasons that, these crafts are so precious because you're bringing that communication through in the work, and then lucky people like me, you get to receive it. We receive what's been coming through in that conversation. There's such beautiful energy there.
Yeah, which it gives me a lot. It's a humble place to be, because also I'm aware of the energy of my energy when I work with cacao, and learning to know when sometimes it's not time to work with cacao, because of the energy that I might be infused. Yeah, still in a learning process of listening.
Yeah.
But I remember one time I was really not in a good space, and I was actually making chocolate, and this old chocolate came with bubbles. And it was it was really interesting to witness how it was not refined, although I was being conch for over 48 hours.
Wow.
But it was still really gritty and bitter, but it was really reflecting my energy. So I couldn't actually sell it.
Oh, wow.
I had to do a whole other ceremony and journey with it to ask forgiveness for what I brought into that chocolate, to then really be able to give it to people.
Yeah.
So that chocolate was called Ho'oponopono chocolate. It was really a teaching of being in that forgiveness and gratitude for what it taught me. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. Gosh, yeah, I have heard people say before, you can't make chocolate when you're angry. It sounds like it's true.
It can help, it assists you, but but remember, it's just the awareness of then you're gonna give that frequency into another person. So it might be good for your own medicine, or maybe it might be good for a medicine to receive for another person, but just to be aware of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ah, So, I want to know how you came to this point of having these conversations with cacao and working with it so closely and even right through to creating this beautiful cup that we're drinking now. So, where did it all start?
I believe as a young child, I loved chocolate, because who doesn't love chocolate? And just fast forward to a couple of years ago, my mom, after I told her I'm starting working with cacao, I'm gonna make cacao and chocolate, and she's like, Giulia, when you were a child, you were playing in the garden with your little tea set, but you were putting mud into the cup, but always in a circle.
Oh.
So I was like, I was already making cacao circle as a child. And so that was when my mom told me, I was like, wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
I really knew the journey that I wanted to be as an adult. And then, so my first cacao ceremony happened in Glasgow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I left Italy that I was 23. And my mom, she makes an awesome hot chocolate. She used powder, cacao powder. And then she makes it with flour to thicken up. Okay. So as a child, I grew up with this beautiful, thick hot chocolate.
In Italy?
In Italy.
Okay.
And then I left Italy and went to live in Scotland. And I remember the disappointment when I asked for a hot chocolate and it was so liquid and milky. I was like, this is not hot chocolate. And so then a couple of years later, I started my journey with yoga and spirituality. And in the yoga studio that I was practicing in, they put this flyer saying cacao ceremony. And I got really curious. I was like, cacao? Like, I actually didn't, like, I knew cacao powder, but I didn't know what it was, actually. And so I remember going into this space, and the facilitator, she had a pot, and she started to pour this hot chocolate, for me, it was hot chocolate, into the cups. And it was really thick and so dark that even just the look at it brought me back to my mom hot chocolate. That's why when I guide people to connect with cacao, I always invite them to see, is there any memory that come back to you? Because that brought me back to my mom and to my childhood. And I remember the facilitator saying, just take your time to drink it. It might be really thick and it's a medicine, so just take your time. And I gave a sip, and it was really my mom hot chocolate, and I finished it in one go. And I was like, can I have some more? But then realized that it was not my mom's hot chocolate, and I felt this heat coming through my whole body. And this presence. Like, I felt so grounded and so so connected to myself like never before, and this energy in my heart was just starting to open. And she took us on a journey to really connect with the heart space and what was our desire, what we wanted, what was our dreams in life. And the dream was to travel. So then series of events took me to leave Scotland, start traveling, and didn't connect to like meet cacao again until I came to Bali. In Bali, I went to Ubud and the yoga barn, and I did another cacao ceremony and I started dancing. And remember the same feeling of in the heart, like this opening, and all these ideas and places that I needed to go were like really clear, landing within myself. And then from Bali, I came to New Zealand. And I was in New Zealand already, like for a year. But then I came back to Italy, went to Bali, and then I was like, what do I do? And then this cacao was like, just need to go back to New Zealand. I said, okay. So I went back to New Zealand, and I was like, okay, what's next? And Mexico was coming really strongly. Like, you have to go to Mexico. You have to go to Mexico. So I started to look into moving and keep traveling through Mexico and South America. And then the lockdowns happened.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like, okay, it's not the time.
Yeah.
And I was on a journey to really connecting once again with myself, and hearing what's next. What is why I'm here in New Zealand, and why do I feel so at home being in New Zealand? I remember landing to Aotearoa, New Zealand, and feeling welcome back home. That was the first year, but really my mind couldn't understand why.
Yeah.
And then being left on a choice, like, are you gonna be in New Zealand during lockdown or going back to Italy? And it was like, no, you stay here. And so at that point I met my ex-partner, and he's from Mexico.
Oh.
So Mexico came to me.
Oh, wow.
And I just started to really connect with the culture through him, and and it was just this more opening of Mexico came into my life. And at the same time, one of my friends, that we do a retreat together here in the far north in Cooper's Beach.
Oh, cool.
We do retreats every 3 months, 6 months. She's now traveling the world, so
okay.
But we do retreat, and she approached me, say, I want to run a retreat. What can you offer? And I say to her, I can do an opening ceremony, because I love creating spaces and allowing people to drop in this space. And really funny enough, I brought cacao, but I brought cacao powder. So I made this whole cacao, like the cacao circle, that I was still calling a cacao ceremony, I have to say. Like, today, I don't call it anymore cacao ceremony. For me, it's a circle, it's a cacao space. But at that time, my journey was like, I'll do a cacao ceremony. But I did it with the powder.
We all start somewhere, right?
We need to start somewhere, like trial and error. But I created this beautiful altar with the cacao powder in the middle, with all the crystal to connect with the energy. And people responded, like we all responded to that drink. Like we felt this energy coming through us. It was beautiful. And from there we started to make retreats. But just before the next retreat, I feel like cacao was like, wait a minute, you can't use the powder, you need to learn. And so a friend of mine, she's like, you need to meet Oonagh from the Cacao Ambassador. She's a really beautiful woman that knows so much about cacao. You must meet her. And yet there was a little bit of resistance not resistance from my side, but from like things were not unfolding for me to meet with her. Until my friend Laura, that we do retreat together, she got into this workshop online with Oonagh, and straight away text me, and she's like, Giulia, you have to meet Oonagh. And so it was already 2 people telling me, and I felt really strongly that I needed to meet this woman. So I sent an email to her explaining the situation, and she came back say, I would love to guide you to connect with cacao, and I'm actually just creating a cacao course online called Cacao Emissary course, and would you like to be my first person to try that out? Oh wow. And I'm like, well, it feels a beautiful synchronicity of event. I'll say yes. And so she took me on this 6 weeks course online, and I remember the first time, one of the first things that Oonagh said was, what do you need to find out what part of the plant you're more connected to it. Is it the beans? Is it the cacao paste? Is it the chocolate? Like, find your way. Because not everybody will connect just with the paste.
Right.
And I remember that when she gave me some beans, I felt this is it. I need to work with the beans.
Yeah.
And also remember her showing in part of the course this video of the women from the Solomon Island. She shared the story of them and how they were trying a chocolate cake using their own cacao for the very first time. And their smile, the joy that I saw in those faces, I was like, I want to work. This is the cacao that I need to work with.
Yeah.
Also for the story that it was carrying, because they've been disconnected from the full potential of the plant by being colonized and not being told how to process the beans once they were dry. And so that's what Oonagh is doing. Probably if people listen to your podcast previously, they met Agnes and Auntie Grace already.
Yeah.
But that's the mission of Oonagh with the Cacao Ambassador, of like really supporting the farmer to regain their sovereignty in knowing what to do with, instead of exporting it, but using the cacao for them first and for the community, and then exporting them.
Yes.
And I was like, I want to support that. That's my mission. Like, I'm with you on this because I see like the importance of assisting the farmers to be acknowledged and to have a better life. And so I started to work with the beans. And at the very beginning, I was really having a small quantity because I didn't have any machinery. I didn't know how to actually process. So even in my mind, like the idea of the investment to really buy big sacks of beans. So it was a lot of limiting beliefs. The cacao supported me to break it down. And so at the beginning, I was using the sun-dried beans, roasting them, and then with a coffee grinder, I was making my paste.
Oh, wow.
And it was so simple, like 100 grams a time. Then I started to become like a little bit bigger. I got 3 coffee grinders. I was making 300 grams at times. But it was like whole hand peeled, and making it just for the spaces that I was holding. So I was not selling to anyone, and it was just for my own medicine and bringing the medicine to the spaces that I was holding.
And you were roasting the beans as well?
Yeah.
Roasting and grinding.
Yeah, I was roasting on a pan, hand peeling them, and then grinding in the coffee grinder. That it was the process that Oonagh taught me during the emissary training. And in all this process, really cacao once again reminded me the importance of the medicine that carries to really be in your heart and to trust your heart. So I've been on a big journey myself for like end of a relationship and grieving that and really needing to come out and come back to myself. And cacao was always there. And I remember also Oonagh, she was like, when I was going through this phase, she was sending me cacao. She's like, you have to have cacao all the time. Just keep drinking it. You come out from it. Yeah. Like you'll be fine.
Oh, that's
like,
so
really,
sweet that she was supporting you.
Oh, so much. And I was like really feeling that support from cacao.
Oh, yeah.
Like that warmth, that internal hug. And then I moved up north to be closer to my friend and having the retreat. To keep on doing the retreat. And I was living in the house, so like there was the top of the house, and then I was living in the apartment below. And then Oonagh came to Northland to stay with me for a couple of days.
Nice.
And when she saw the space, she was like, Giulia, we need to get you a sack of beans. Enough with this coffee grinder. You need to start making more paste, because I was actually having quite a few. I was holding a few space, and I was at time like peeling in the night and roasting like with grinding them with 2 hands on a coffee grinder. Like it was intense, but I was so committed to keep on making my own paste, because of the energy that I could put into it, and that connection. And so I remember buying I think it was maybe 25 kg. It was for me already like something more than what I was used to.
Yeah.
And then from there I chose, okay, I'll buy my first. I got this clear message: you have to trust, and go behind your comfort zone. And so I actually wrote a business plan, and I spoke to my dad, and I said, Dad, will you be willing to sponsor me? Like, this is my dream, and this is all, like, I made it really clear what I needed. And my dad was like, yeah, I'll give you the funds.
Beautiful.
And so he supported me to start to get my first 4 sacks of sun-dried beans. And I remember driving down to Auckland in my really little car and putting a sack, 62 kg.
Oh.
So I had 4 sacks.
Oh my gosh. In your little car.
In my little car, and then driving all the way up to Northland. Like 5 hours. It took me maybe 6, because the car was really heavy, like on the uphill. I was like, we can do it.
Oh my gosh. And it must have smelled like cacao in your car too.
Must have been. So good. So good.
What a journey.
And I remember then starting, like, I had my first melanja, and I was making the paste, and that's how I started. Really, like, making from that, taking myself out of the comfort zone, and once again sitting in front of the beans, because one time I went into the fear of, like, how I'm gonna make all this money that I need to have to pay the rent, to repay my dad, and I remember the cacao speaking to me, say, you just need to turn me into paste.
Oh.
Like, your abundance is right in front of you. You just need to transform it into paste, or like keep on working and keep on bringing people the awareness of the beans. So it was really all about bringing this knowledge about the beans and what you can do by having just sun-dried beans. And it's been true. Like, literally, if I don't make paste, I don't receive any order. And sometimes I make paste and not even say to anyone, and then I keep on, and I receive messages of like, do you have any paste available?
Oh.
And it's been quite, like, actually a push to, maybe I need to get another melanja.
Oh,
because one is not enough. Like, I don't have storage of cacao. Even now, I have, the last order that I had was 25 kg of beans, and they were gone in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And I'm like, I don't have even cacao for myself.
Oh no. Oh my goodness.
So it's been really like a confirmation of what the beans were telling me, and they keep on, they just keep on talking to me of every step that I need to take. And last year, Oonagh came to me and say, I want to, like, I have this vision of bringing a group of people in the Solomon. Would you like to be part of? And I'm like, of course.
Yeah.
Like, I want to meet the farmers. I want to meet those women that have been connecting through you by the photo that she was sharing with us and the video that she was sharing when she was in the Solomon. Like, I was like, I really want to hug them. I want to say thank you for your work that you're doing.
Absolutely.
And so I was like, I'm in. I don't know how I'm gonna be there. Once again, the financial aspect of making the money to be there. It was quite an investment.
Okay.
But Cacao was like, trust, you're gonna be there. Like the land is calling you, the trees are calling you, you're gonna be there, just don't worry about it. And it did happen. Through Cacao and through side work that came out of the bloom that brought me financial support. It was incredible. And all of this, I also, during that period, I feel life, it can test you, is it really what you want to do? Is it really what you need to be? And so I got a big test that I had a surfing accident.
Oh, really?
And I got a strong concussion that knocked me out for 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So I couldn't make any money.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't make paste. I couldn't even work with Cacao anymore.
Oh, gosh.
But that, I kept on drinking Cacao and consuming and meditating with the beans. And I could, all I could hear was like trust. And I could see myself with the trees. So I was like, just hold that vision. And anyway, like it happened. And so last year I got this great opportunity to go to the Solomon, and we were a group of 10 people, and we met the women that I've been seeing through the pictures.
Yeah.
And really connect with them. And just even the first time going and see the tree. It was so beautiful. Like I was walking, it was Auntie Grace's farm, and I was walking towards, and I could feel this energy of like love coming through and this warmth. And then I remember seeing the first tree and I cried. I was just like, I'm here, and I could hear the tree say, welcome. Welcome, you're here. You're here. Like, no, don't worry about anything anymore. You made it. And I had my flute with me, so I play some song to the trees to say thank you for like all that you did, because I feel like they gave me so much strength to be there. And so that's, and from there the journey keeps on unfolding, and it's to me there is so much magic of the way that the things are unfolding. And just then after a year, less than a year, the women came to New Zealand. And I had the beautiful opportunity to manaki them, to care for them for 2 weeks on the road. And it was just so beautiful to see this reciprocity.
Because you'd been over there and with them in their home, and then you got to host them here. And
exactly. And it was just like beautiful to see them like living in the community here in New Zealand, and the people that could once again say thanks to them for what they're doing, and hearing their story, and just getting more and more connected, like feeling that family aspect, because this is something that I experienced last year being in the island. It was that feeling of community and family that I really fulfilled my heart so much. And beautiful. Keep on like the healing that brought me in my life, the healing that brought in my heart. I met my partner being in the Solomon, and it was amongst the trees, and it was like it's healing my heart, and it keeps on healing. Like even today, like there is this healing happening through Cacao and through our relationship, and I feel Cacao brought me a beautiful gift. Auntie Grace, which is the woman that we stayed for most of the time, she's so happy. She claims that we met on her farm, and so she's now in the...
She was your matchmaker.
Yeah. When she was in New Zealand, she would say to everyone, if you want to meet your love, just come to my farm.
Oh, cute. That's adorable.
She's so sweet. But yeah, then it kept on unfolding, and when they were here, I knew that there was more to come. But again, it was not clear.
Yeah.
Like I could sense it, but it was not clear. But on a side note, there was something that landed to me just before the woman came to New Zealand. I went back to Italy, my homeland.
Yeah.
After 4 years.
Oh wow!
So it was a very long time.
Yeah.
And I brought cacao with me.
Of course.
Actually, I have cacao every time. I have beans with me or cacao every time, like anywhere I go, and I hand it to people. And I really love to share the beans and the paste with anyone that I actually always have like a drink in my flask, and I give it to everyone that I talk to.
Do you? Oh.
So in Italy it was the same. It was like anywhere I was going, telling about cacao, and so many things unfolded. Like people that never knew about cacao.
Yeah.
They never knew the chocolate was growing on tree.
Wow.
So bringing that knowledge back to my homeland it's been really powerful. Like holding spaces where to show people how to make their chocolate at home. It was very empowering for myself, but for them as well. Like receiving messages after, say thank you for what you brought into my life, because it's given me hope that I can create, that there is creation into so many beautiful messages and love messages of like thank you for what I was doing. But when I was in Italy, I remember there was a big full moon, and I was going to Venice. Now I love working with water as well. So Venice is the city under the water, like there is water everywhere.
Yeah.
So the full moon was really strong, particularly strong for me in that time. And I was asking to receive guidance of where to go with cacao, because I was making the paste, I was holding spaces, I was using the medicine of cacao into my one-on-one healing session with people. But I felt that there was something more they wanted to come through.
Yes.
See what it is. And so on my journey to Venice, I start to receive this full download of you have to work with the youth. You have to work with the next generation in the islands, starting from in the island. Because when we were in the island and we met Agnes' dad, he was sharing his challenge of not having enough support and not knowing how the plantation was going to be once he was gone. Who was going to share this knowledge to? Because all the youth were more interested in other things, or interested in Facebook or like social media, but not really wanting to work in the farm. Yeah. And so that was like, okay, we need to talk to the youth. And, with the work that the Cacao Ambassador is doing to make sure that the farmers are reaching a level of livelihood, like being paid a fair paid, and it's not anymore like being a farmer is like you don't get enough money and it's hard work. There is that change of mindset. Then I'm like, we need to support the youth to see this change. Yes. And so this message came through as I was traveling to Venice, and I wrote it down.
It's so interesting.
I wrote it all down. I was like, I had a meeting with one of the guy. I met an Italian guy in the Solomon the first day that I arrived.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, and even I was like, what is this like? There's a synchronicity here. And so I called him and I say, I have this whole idea, I would love, but I don't know what to do. And he encouraged me to stay strong with my vision, and things will come, the clarity will come.
Yeah.
And so I planted this seed, and I kept on working with Cacao, and then the opportunity of being in service again came by taking the woman in tour in New Zealand. And on the very last day, I then connected deeper with Agnes, and we talked, and I was like, I share with her this vision, and she's like, this is exactly the same vision that I have.
Oh, really?
I want to talk to this, I want to talk to the students in the school. I want to talk to the youth in my community and give them the opportunity to see that they have a future in the cacao and in the chocolate industry, but and I want them to be more in connection with cacao. But that was it. We just spoke it. We just spoke it out loud.
At the end of the trip.
And then it was actually, I think, the last night before Dan and I, we were going back home, and then they were leaving also to the Solomon. So, okay, cool. We came back home, and we had a very eventful, we had to change home, and then finally we got to be in this tree house. And I was again in this, I could hear Cacao asking me, you have to be on the ground, you have to be on the ground. But I didn't know how to be on the ground.
On the ground, with the trees.
With the trees and to be back on the Solomon. Yeah. So I spoke a couple of times with Oonagh and see, we were being both listening into what could have been next. And Oonagh, at the point, in this moment, she's really doing her best to support the community in Papua New Guinea. And Solomon is thriving, in terms of the economic with cacao. They're getting much more clients in terms exporting the beans.
Oh, wow.
And so they're doing, their situation is improving.
Okay. And
so it was not clear how I could be on the ground. And so I also was like, okay, trust that if that's what it's meant to be, it's gonna be. And there was all sorts of challenges and resistance and tests. And and once again, I heard the being say, go and sit with me, go in nature and sit, and you shall receive a direction. And so I took a little sack of beans and I went in the back. We have a big kaikatea tree, just the back of the house. And I was sitting and asking, just please show me what's the next. Where do I go? And I didn't really receive, the clear answer. If not, just stay with this vision, trust that you'll be shown. And literally half an hour later, I came home and Agnes called me.
Oh, really?
She never called me. We've been texting, we kept in touch constantly. And, our connection is with all the women. We have our group chat in WhatsApp. We are really beautiful, close friend and family.
The women in the Solomon.
But she never called me. But she called me and she's like, Giulia, I want to tell you that I spoke to the principal of the school, and he wants us to deliver a program for the students in the school. When can you come to Solomon? And I'm like, what? I remember Dane in the back. He was recording.
Oh, really?
What it was happening.
Because you probably were like, Agnes is calling me, what?
Yeah.
And
he was with me in this whole moment of trouble in terms of the challenges that I was facing. And
I love that he was recording it. That's
cool. And I remember I was shocked. In a way, in disbelief of what was happening in that moment. And I said, but when do you want me to be there? And I said, when can you be there? Like, next month? I was like, and at the same time, we just returned to these 2 weeks touring with them. We moved home, and I invested all my money into buy 2 sacks of beans from Papua New Guinea.
Okay.
And so I literally had $3 in my bank account.
Oh my goodness.
Like,
and she's asking you to fly to the Solomons.
and I was like, okay. I didn't say anything. Like, I said to her, I really need to figure it out because I don't have enough money right now. But give me time. And so Dane supported me of like ground myself. I was like, this is happening. There is a reason, like you've asked for it.
Yeah.
So you need to, you need to stay grounded. You need to hold the vision. You're gonna find a way. And then there was another moon. I can't remember now. I think it was a new moon. And I got this strong message to ask support from the community. And the idea was to run an event and fundraise the money for me to go there.
Yeah.
And so I remember just going to the river, and I was about to make a story on Instagram, and then I received this message of go live now. I'm like, what? Like, I'm terrified of going live on Instagram. Like, just I don't know, talking on a screen, and it's very. I feel like that the disconnection. I still don't have a relationship with it.
Yeah, your life's a whole other thing too.
Here it's you're in front of me, like I can see you, and we can. It's different.
Totally.
But it was really, really clear that I needed to go live, and I saw the time, and it was 11:11.
Oh,
I'm like, okay, of course. Let's go. And so I pressed live, not knowing what I was going to share.
Oh my gosh.
But then this whole Dane's voice came and said, just share your story. Because the power of your story, it's all you need.
Yeah.
Just share what Agnes said and ask support to the community. And so I did. And I went, I feel like blah, blah, blah at the beginning. And then people started to come live. And a really good sister feed that she has her own brand, Cacao. She makes this beautiful chocolate and paste. And she started to give me a question in the life. So what's the kopapa? What's your vision? And so she guided me to go through the life and give a clear message of what was my vision and what I needed. Then I posted, went back home, and I said to Dane, I went live. I shared. And then the mind started to be like, oh, it was so long. Who is going to listen to you talking about for more than half an hour,
Yes, the mind does. Analyze it all afterwards.
And I was about to put it down and just to make a normal story, saying about the vision, now that it was clear to me. And then I received the first message from one of my dear sisters. Say, I want to support you. Give me your bank account. I send you $200.
Oh, beautiful.
And I'm like, that was a great tohu. I signed that. That was what I needed to go. Yeah. I needed to do. And then a bunch of beautiful souls came here in the tree house to celebrate Dane's birthday. And it was, we had beautiful, magical fairies and here. And I share with them as well. And Joyda May, she's a singer, and she was like, oh, I do a raffle. Yeah. Do a raffle because that's a good way for you to share, and people want to support you, and they receive something back if they win and so on. And she gave me this all invitation, and of course being a projector, I was like, I took it in, and start to, like, they all give me something to gift to the raffle, which it was already just the first prize was so valuable. And so people start to buy ticket. And then people started to ask me, oh, can I gift you my like whatever they were making? And I ended up having like chocolate from different like chocolate makers around the New Zealand.
You had some amazing prizes. I saw it all. It was beautiful.
And it came so without effort. It was with ease and flow, and the ticket got sold. I started to keep on receiving donation, and I was like, I don't even have a clear vision of what we're gonna do. I just know that I'm gonna be in the island, bringing the program, like the story of me and Agnes and the story of Cacao to the students, but we didn't really have a clear vision of what was gonna happen. I didn't have a date, and once again the mind was like, you have to have all this sorted for people to support you. And instead it was not needed. Like, I really felt that just the power of the intention that we both were holding, Agnes and I, was enough to be there.
Oh, that's so beautiful. It's such a testament to the community of cacao lovers. It's like people want to collaborate and support each other.
And that's what I love about cacao here in New Zealand, is like that collaboration. That, wanting to, there is no competition. And it's so beautiful.
And when you're in the heart, I think that people could feel your vision without needing to understand it logically. Like they could feel the energy of it. And
this is was exactly how it happened. And so in less than a month I raised all the money that I needed to buy the ticket, the flight ticket, and I was and then I had the money to get merchandise. So we created a t-shirt for Agnes to have it for like tour, or for the program with the youth, and different things that she was needed in the village. And so and then I flew over. I just came back like 3 weeks ago.
You did.
No, sorry, a week ago.
Was it just a week ago?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, gosh.
I went there for 2 weeks, and I just came back.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because we talked about maybe doing this together, having a podcast episode together before you left to like share what you were going to do, but it felt like it would be more aligned to share that after, and it's cool that we are, because now we get to hear about how it all happened, and that leap of faith that you took, it just came together so beautifully. So cool to see. And then I was watching your Instagram shares and stories and everything while you were over there, and it looks like it went so well.
It did. It was, once again, how I unfolded. It was unexpected in terms of like, we didn't know. Agnes, at first, she received the invitation from one teacher. It was actually her old school teacher. That is now the principal of the school. Say, oh, we saw what you're doing. Can you talk to our students? Because we want to inspire them. Like, if you did it, they can do it too. And then they both knew that if there was another person outside the island bringing a story alongside similar story, and also a story that was showing like the power of that I could see in Agnes, then students would be, oh wow, she can see it too. Like it was all about doing our best to inspire the youth to see, if she did it in the island, anybody can. Because there is that mindset of it's really hard, the government doesn't help, so therefore you're not really it's becoming like a entrepreneur is not so easy, and so on.
Because for those listening who might not have heard Agnes speak in the previous episode, that she's spoken, that when you say for the students to know if she did it, they can too, you're talking about her entrepreneurial journey of what she's done with the farm. And
she was having her dad had a little cacao farm, and then she just evolved, and cacao took her on a whole journey around the world to learn about cacao, to then bring it back into on the island, in the village. And she's now got like 17, between, I think, 16 blocks of cacao, of cacao trees, and she makes chocolate from her own tree. So it's like she's got all the stages. From the plantation to the chocolate bar.
Yes.
And it's not something that you see.
No.
In that quantity, in that big quantity.
Yeah.
And also it's not really common to see a woman traveling.
Right.
Going into different places, being funded to go in South America, and she went to Japan and like different places, and it's just it's an incredible story to share.
So inspiring for the students.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we had a few students that they said exactly that, if she did it, I can do it. And I won't stop myself to believe that it's not possible. And that was exactly what we wanted.
Yes. Wow.
And our intention was also not to we didn't want to direct the students to think just to become farmers, but we wanted to show how cacao in all the levels could support you in achieving your intention, or to achieve a dream that you have, because it can hold you in that space. And so when I was in the island, at the end we got contacted by another school, which was a really big school, an international school, where the students study agriculture and business.
Oh wow!
So they're more like they want to specialize themselves in that aspect. And when they came to visit us, we both share our stories, how we got to be there. Something really that came a strong message that we share with them was to stay connected with your dreams, believe in your dreams. And I got to share with them the power of social media in terms of because I remember Agnes, she was sharing with them, don't be in social media too much, and just be focused with what you want to do, which is, I truly believe in that.
Yeah.
And yet I'm like, we have social media now that we can use them in a completely different way to support us in achieving what we want to achieve. So I share with them.
It's a tool if it's used the right way. Yeah.
And then we took them on a tour, and they went on to see the trees, and most of them, some of their parents have cacao plantation. Okay. So they were aware of the tree. They know the tree because they study also in the school. Yeah. But then when we took them to see the chocolate house, some of them, most of them, was the first time trying cacao or chocolate made out of the pod, like the beans. Yeah. So we had a few of them sharing with us, saying that how inspired they were to go back home and share with their family about that. So to really see that ripple effect that is already been established in the island by the work that has been laid out, but now having the students being able to go back home, and share with their family, and wanting to seeing that they have a plantation. They can do exactly what Agnes is doing, or in a different way, of course, because that's something important we share. It's like, think out of the box. Don't think the same way that she did it. It's like, how do you want to do it? What do you want to go? And then, trust the process of being there.
So for people who maybe don't have the context of that, you're talking about students whose families have a farm, but they basically just grow the beans and sell the beans and don't do anything extra with them. It's like a cash crop. They're sold and maybe even shipped overseas. And so it's bringing that awareness that they can create something extra with, or make their own cacao, or make their own chocolate, and maybe grow the farm in other ways.
Exactly. It's like to bring that knowledge back to them, and to have this medicine for them first.
Yes.
And stop buying Milo. Stop buying, empower them to make their own product, their own medicine.
Because they literally have the medicine right there. They just need the knowledge of how to use it.
Exactly.
Amazing. Wow. Yeah. So you went into the schools, or did they mainly come to you?
So they came to us.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Onto the farm.
We came to the farm. And it was beautiful too. Like, we had the first part, we were sharing the story, and I made a cacao drink. Which actually, would you like some more?
Ah, yes.
Maybe even for the listener. Thank you. If you want to take a moment.
Pouring more out of the teapot. Beautiful.
Having some more cacao.
Yay.
Because that's something that, we took them on a journey, was the story of cacao.
Cheers.
Like the story of this ancient drink.
Yeah.
And once again, they might know about cacao now and the chocolate, but actually where it's coming from.
Yes.
And so we had the opportunity to share with them the story of cacao, and they drink it. We all drink it together.
Oh, and that was probably their first time drinking it like that, was it?
Yeah, and something that I noticed was that, so Solomon Island is really Catholic base. So all the indigenous ritual have been suppressed.
Okay.
Been asked not to use it, to perform any indigenous ritual. And so I was quite aware of bringing cacao as a ceremony, or bringing that aspect. But then it gave me the opportunity through the story to share how it was used in the past. And so I was just sharing. I remember with the first school, I shared with them how the Maya were using it to celebrate life. They were using it as a drink, and how they were setting an intention, and for the different ways that cacao was used. For who's not, we have Didi the cat. She's quite famous.
Just joining us.
Yeah, she's here with us.
Beautiful cat energy. Just walking in.
So I share this story. I just share that. With the second school, Agnes took the space after we gave all the drinks, and she asked them to not drink it until everybody received the cup. And once everybody had the cup, she led them into what I did at the beginning with you.
Oh, really?
Because she saw me doing it.
Yeah.
And then she did it.
Oh.
And she
Did you know she was going to do it?
I didn't know. I was prepared. I prepared myself to do it.
Yeah.
And then I was handing over the last drink, And Agnes started to talk and say, now I invite everyone to just take a moment to get your cup and bring it to your heart, and we're going to pray over the cacao. And something really landed of like, it was so special, really special moment to see all this, like everyone taking a moment to acknowledge the drink and taking that, to take that moment to set and pray over the drink, over the cacao, and then receive it.
Wow.
So yeah, that was really powerful.
I can only imagine, like I can feel it in my body as you're talking about it a little bit. Just, that's profound. It's like bringing back that connection to the earth and the plants, and that may have been there more strongly before. And yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because they have a very strong practice of prayer.
Yeah.
Living with them for 2 weeks has been really healing, to be in the presence of God and just being in my own journey of what God is for me.
Yeah.
And the power of the prayer. And having that brought it into the cacao.
Yeah.
It was a blessing.
That's beautiful. I'm a fan of prayer. Big fan. And so bringing that together with cacao, I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how you're, showing Agnes the way of, like, she can lead that now, because people just need to be shown the way sometimes, right? Or like given permission.
Showing the way with the openness to find their own way.
Yes.
This is not the way. This is who I am.
Yeah.
Like, I can share how I do it, and then give you the opportunity to find your own way.
Yes, thank you for making that distinction. Yes, I totally agree. Yeah, it's a permission to bring our own essence to it, but be able to do things in a new way that we might not have seen before. And cacao's so beautiful for that, because we can all just so uniquely bring this medicine through. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually Agnes, one night we were talking, and she said to me, "Giulia, you are a space holder." And I was like, what? Like, I'm aware that this is who I am.
Yeah.
Like, I hold space.
Yeah.
And at times it's very undefined of what a space is. Sometimes I just love sitting and hold a space for another person to shine, or to really, like, to bring their gift. And so being seen by her in that aspect, it brought tears to my eyes. And she's like, yeah, you hold this space of, like, for me to find my own voice and be in this space of what I want to bring through. Like, you make people realize in their own dreams.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Like, it's a bit, like, it's what I do.
Yeah.
And at times it's really, I feel challenged to make a living out of it. Like, it's being in service and being holding space. But how can you be a space holder in a society that sometimes requires you to be labeled by what you do? Like, what space do you hold? Like me, I don't know. Just tell me a dream, and I hold this space for you to make that dream happen.
Nice.
And usually there is always cacao involved, because I know that it helps you to hold that space. So, which it brings me to my, my, like, the business, which I don't like to call it business, but the business that I have, and I'm also rebranding myself. Yeah. We were talking just before. And yes, it's all about holding that space for people and surfing the wave of life with them in whatever way it looks like. And for how long it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing this for a few people in my life, usually very close, and also people that I don't know, but mainly people that then get really close to me because we surf together. That wave of like, what's your dream? Okay, let's look at it. And I'm there with them. So I see it in this moment, like I have to be in the Solomon with Agnes to surf with her that wave.
Yes.
Of bringing that program into the school. Whether she's gonna need me to surf more that wave with her in the future or not, that was what I was in that moment needed. Yeah.
And it sounds like you have been an actual surfer before in the waves. You said you had a surfing accident at some point. Do you still surf?
Yeah, I surf, and surfing is such a metaphor for my life.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So my new brand is actually called Onda.
Onda.
That means wave.
Yeah, okay. Is that Italian?
That's Italian. So that's also, it's a reclamation of my language.
Oh.
It's been a journey, and now it feels so good to actually have, my co-papa, my vision in Italian.
Yeah.
So, and it is about surfing life.
Onda. Oh, yay. Yeah, cheers to that.
Cheers.
How do you spell it?
Onda.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's similar in Spanish. Or the same, maybe?
Well, I don't know if the spelling is the same, but...
Yeah. It's ringing a bell because I have learned a bit of Spanish in the past. Okay. So, Onda, wow.
Yeah.
It does have a forward momentum feeling to it, the word as well. It's sort of like...
Yeah, it is a movement.
Yeah, there's a movement.
And I don't know what it's going to look like, but for now it's a movement, and it's a movement of like, you want to jump on the wave with me? Let's see where it takes us.
Wow.
And it can, where Cacao is going to be involved all the time.
So this is for your work with people one-on-one, or...
Yeah, so it's like to work with people one-on-one. If you have an intention, something that you want to bring to life, or something that you want to work on, we have a corero talk together, and then I can guide you to different practices to surf those waves, but also I can guide you to connect with other people. So I'm not attached to you have to work with me.
Right.
It's like, I might know a person that can really support you in that. I'll send you to it. So it's like weaving also different and supporting other people's business or work. So it's like for the one-on-one, then I always do educational work. Like I love sharing about cacao, and so like bringing the knowledge of cacao in all the aspect that I've learned so far. Because also that is always like growing the knowledge. So through different, I do workshop in person, where it's like usually it's always open for family, because for me it's really important that children's or teenager are in the space of learning, or online. So I'm actually creating this course online that people can take with me, and I call it Cacao Dieta. So it's like going to dive with cacao and see what will bring through with you, and then of course the paste. That is gonna bring that movement. Because something that came really clear to me was the importance for me now moving forward is to have the paste, to make paste that is directly connected to the farm, to the farmers. Not that I was not, but it's like now I'm connected with Agnes, so I really want to buy the beans from her in making the paste with those beans.
Oh, beautiful.
So I'm on the learning process of how to make that happen.
Okay.
And still like buying the beans from Oonagh or from any, like my dear friend Hannah, that she has the Selva cacao.
Yes.
Sometimes, we've been talking about, can I have the Mexican beans? I would love to make some paste.
Yeah.
But it's becoming more and clear that I will connect. I want to connect directly with the farmers and have that line of like, this paste comes from Agnes Farm. This paste comes from the name of the family. So it's like a single origin paste that has a story that I am connected with.
Yes. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. And just to clarify, you'll be selling the pastes that you make.
Yes.
And also combining them with your other work. And
Yeah.
because you have a background in energy healing, is that right? I think I saw that. And so you've been doing one-on-one work and bringing cacao into that at times. And
all the time.
All the time.
Like you always have a cup of cacao.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so this is like Onda is like an evolution of what you've been doing moving forward. And it sounds almost a little bit like a kind of a way of coaching, but it's like your own version of helping people realize what they're moving towards. And amazing.
Yeah, it's like because it's like coaching, but at the same time it's like I really like do my best. I don't want to be higher than anyone. It's like surfing together.
Yeah.
Like being on that same wave that can go up and down, and we are together in that.
Holding the space for...
It's holding the space.
Yeah.
Which is, it's still like, there is no definition really of what it is.
Yeah.
Like clear. Maybe it is clear, but it's not clear.
Well, it feels clear to me. I mean, I sometimes it's so much easier to move forward on something when you know that someone else is observing or holding the space or is there with you. You're not alone in it. And you're a projector in human design, and projectors are such amazing guides as well, and can really see what people are going through, and so you can be like a mirror for those people as well. And I know when I had a projector mentor before who even just being in that container of feeling held was actually so uplifting for me. It helped me just reach new levels in my life. And I was actually thinking about that earlier today because there's something about being held in that space. And now that I've had that experience of being like really held and really seen, I can sometimes tap into that for myself, like that container closed, but I know what it feels like. Or if I tune in with God or with nature, it's like I can, sometimes we can feel quite disconnected and alone in this crazy modern world, and having that experience of being really held, I can be like, okay, I know what that feels like. I don't have to feel disconnected ever again, really. Because I can tap into in other ways, or even just in myself. I'm connected, I'm held, life is holding space for me, or I'm holding space for myself. So all that to say, I think it's a really powerful offering, and it's amazing for people to have space held for them. It's very healing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's weaving all the practices that I've been put in my basket.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I try them, like I practice them for myself. And then I can offer them.
Yeah.
And I'm not, some of them I've just touched the surface of them. That's why I can guide people to go, well, I know a person that is really like specialized in this. So there you go. But even with cacao, at times when I don't have cacao, it's just like, I'm not going to say to you, not to cacao, I'll give you the person that has cacao. You know, it's like I'm not attached to it.
Yeah.
You have to work with me. I'm here and learning to be a projector, to wait for the invitation, like Agnes. And it felt really powerful. And now we just keep on seeing how things evolve. And the next step is to write a report of the program that we brought, and tap into fundings and ask for fundings to bring this program in different islands through the Solomon.
Yeah.
And because we've been in service in that.
Yeah.
But we know that there are people out there willing to support this project. So the next stage is to write down and tap on those, weaving this tapestry with whoever is going to be there to say, we see you, we want to support you.
Yeah, I was going to ask if there were future evolutions of this, and so you might go back.
Yeah, we're looking into next year.
Amazing.
There is already like an organization willing to support us. World Vision. Yeah.
Okay.
And it is to bring this project into 3 different islands in the Solomon.
Wow.
So really travel to the islands and bring them to then expand the project for the students to come and be in with Agnes, maybe during school holidays or once the school finish, and they can do their training or learning on the ground with her. Because she's amazing. She will find your house, so she will give her house for you to stay.
Oh,
that's Agnes.
Gosh. Yeah. Oh, what an angel. Oh my goodness.
So that's the beauty of community over there.
Yeah. Wow, incredible.
Giving.
And there's, from what I understand, there's literally thousands and thousands of cacao farms, right? There's like many in the Solomons.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And there is so many cacao farms that are wild, and because there is not enough people looking after them. Yeah. And so the cacao grows wild. And you travel through the island and you'll see cacao trees everywhere, but they're so tall and not looked after. And
so there's more opportunity for people to learn how to look after them and and provide an income for themselves and their families and communities.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I think I could keep on talking.
Yeah, I mean you can if you want. It's the great thing about making independent things is there's no time limit.
Yeah, true. No, I feel quite don't know if you have any questions.
Yeah, gosh, I mean, I'm just amazed at your journey, and I so love hearing more about it because, of course, I knew little bits here and there, and I'd been watching your trip to the Solomons, and it's so nice to hear more context and how it's all woven together. And I guess I'd love to know if there was something that you learned about cacao that really stood out to you that you didn't know before when you were over there.
Quite a few things, I have to say. Working on the farm with them and see those trees falling. Something that it really stopped for me was like this very old tree fell down, and there was only one root attached to the ground. And even if the tree was merely dead, there were new shooting.
Wow.
New cacao shooting, ready to be pruned and then crafted and replant them. It really, to both of us, actually for Agnes too, we spent, we sat there for a little bit and really pondering on the message that we were receiving, that it was about resilience. That no matter, you can fall down, but if you have one foot on the ground, you'll still keep on growing.
Yeah.
So that was a great, to see it.
Yeah. And
then I learned a lot just in the last 2 days, maybe that's a whole another podcast. But like in the last 2 days, I had this great opportunity to be part of this workshop with Zoe from Zoto. She has a PhD in cacao, and she shared with us her knowledge about the importance of every single step that it's needed for the beans to be at their optimal quality, result. And it really gave me even extra appreciation of the work that they do on the ground to allow us to have beans that we can turn them into cacao paste or chocolate. Like there is a whole system that is needed to be in place for the beans to have enough air during the fermentation, for the acidity to drop, otherwise we can have a really strong acid beans. To really check the pH of the beans and in the pulp, in the beans itself. And there is a big work behind that we are not aware. Like we eat chocolate bar like it's water. And it's like, oh, it's delicious. And perhaps, we also say that it's very high price now, or like the good quality chocolate cost. But when you know the work that is behind, that is taken to be there, is it really that expensive, or it's actually important to bring those, fundings back to the farmers? So that was really, really strong learning for me. Like see how the fermentation is actually a really hard job.
Is it?
Yeah, you have to even one or every day or every 2 days you have to turn them, but you have to rotate it really vigorously, like to make the air going through the beans.
It's a bit of a workout.
Oh, it's a really. Agnes jumped in the box, and I thought she was going to make wine because she was like really working those beans and moving them. Yeah, it was and I mean we're talking about temperature, the islands like 38, 40 degrees.
Yeah, true.
80% humidity. Like
keep them fit, I guess. Wow. Gosh.
Yeah.
I love that, the appreciation for what goes into it, even just to get the bean to us, and then let alone making the paste as well. So yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so grateful that you got to go and do that. Like, I'm so happy for you and happy for Agnes and the children, and like the impact that you were all having. And like, it's so cool to see that it happened, because I think when you announced it, you weren't sure how, but you trusted.
And I think that's a message that I would love to invite everyone, that is listening to the podcast or any moment, like if you like just sit with cacao in any form that you feel more connected to. My vision is for everyone to have their own sack of beans at home that they can really sit with the beans, because it's the purest form that we can get into the country. Of course, if you can go in the Solomon Island or in any place that you can sit with a tree, even more. But like really listen to them, listen to cacao and the message that it carries with it. And trust that message.
Beautiful. I wanted to ask you if there was any message you wanted to share for people, so I love that. And I also always love to ask, as a sort of towards the end question, do you think that cacao can or is changing the world?
Yeah, I see it. Like the way that people are more aware of cacao and the division that took place with the colonialism and how it's been separated, and we also feel separated, and how it's bringing back us together. And just even when you see the cacao being separated, having that black and white, black being the cacao powder, the white being the cacao butter. It's being separated. But now with the knowledge that we're all bringing, because there is an evolution of people bringing this knowledge, is bringing people back together. And me being there in the village, I could see that. It didn't matter at the end, the color of my skin. I was the white, I was the butter. And they were the powder, we were joking about it.
Were you? That's so sweet.
But at the end, it was like, we were one.
Yeah.
And we can just keep on sharing and have the ripple effect. It doesn't matter the color of the skin. We can come together to make a change. And cacao is teaching us this.
Yeah, because this is a resurgence of cacao paste, which includes both the fibres and the butters, the powder and the butter.
Yeah.
It's all there together, not separate.
Yeah, exactly. And we need both in order to receive the full medicine.
Yeah. Oh, you're giving me goosebumps again. Wow. Oh my goodness. What an incredible journey. So beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. Actually, I needed for myself to trace back my journey with cacao.
Oh, yay. I'm so grateful that you were willing to do that with me and to share it. Thank you so much. And so, Onda Cacao and Onda... Onda.
It's Onda.
Onda. Yeah, beautiful. So if people want to learn about Onda, where can they get in touch with you?
At the moment, it will be through my social media.
On
Instagram and Facebook. Yeah.
Okay.
Mainly Instagram is what I would use the most.
Okay.
But it's gonna change as well.
Yeah. Well, I'll put that in the show notes and people can get in touch with you if they want to ride the waves with you and also try your beautiful cacao.
Yeah.
And I feel like what you're offering, I was thinking when you were speaking about it, it feels very like Age of Aquarius collaboration, the way you were speaking about, that even if someone else wanted to, if they needed to work with someone else, you'd send them that way. It's like, that's how we need to move in the world more, is collaborating with each other and collaboration over competition.
Indeed, and trust is enough for everyone.
There absolutely is. So thank you for leading the way in that and doing what you're doing, and I just love the way that you work with cacao. It's very, very beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anything else you want to say before we close?
I feel like to invite everyone and us too to just take a moment to feel this energy that has been moved through the hours, the couple of hours that we spent together, and just notice if there is anything that landed, anything that has been stirred, any ideas or vision that came. And whatever it's been activated for you, for us, hold it and trust in your heart as you keep on receiving and consuming cacao. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm feeling really full of gratitude right now. Thank you. You definitely activated some things in me, so I might have to take some notes after this.
Please do.
And thank you for that closing. I wanted to give a closing and then you did it, and that was just perfect, and I loved it, and I'm grateful. Thank you so much, and onwards with our evening.
Yes.
Okay. Grazie. Thank you for opening your heart here and listening today. Please subscribe to keep getting episodes in Apple, Spotify or YouTube. And please share this podcast with your cacao-loving friends. You can follow us on Instagram at Loved by Cacao. Please take care of your heart and may you feel loved.